If you want blessings, be trustworthy. Be obedient to that what the word says. And so long there is Adam in me, I will preach the gospel of salvation, not a gospel of prosperity. I never hunted after money. When I go, I don't say, you must pay me X amount into my bank account, pay my ticket, make sure the hotel is paid and the food is prepared. I never do that. Most of it, me and my wife, we pay out of our own pocket. And I tell you, sometimes our giving is 60% from our income. You cannot outgive God. If you want blessings, be trustworthy. Be obedient to that what the word says. Like I said this morning about the 100 rand. The one hand, most people, they only know this, but they do not know this. And this is even much more important to release. And when you in the mission field and you ask the people for something, say now you build now a church. Yeah? The people helping to build, they're making the bricks, you build it up, they're putting the grass on the top. When you're in the mission field, you don't get the churches with nice soft chairs where you can nicely sleep while the pastor is preaching. No, you sit on the floor or on stone benches. So when you ask them, people, we want to fill this room with chairs, and a chair costs 100 rand. So, and we need 50 shares. Now the people bring some money. Now the money is just enough for one share. What you're going to do? You wait till there's enough for 50? No. You buy this one share and you put it in the church and say, people, this is what the money you brought in to buy a chair. Now we bought one because it was only enough for one. When the people see that, they will be willing to give more. But when you don't buy this one share, instead of that, you're going to buy a pair of nice, shiny shoes. You mistrusted the money of the kingdom. You have to do what you ask for. If you don't do that, you become a robber of God. So keep that in mind. If you want that people follow you on the pathway to heavenly places, you must be an example that they can say, yes, this man or this woman is a leader who is trustworthy. Not like many governments, corrupt. We should not be corruptible. We live in a corruptible world, but we must not be corruptible. And then I said to my wife, I will get some maize seed, treated maize seed. And we got some You know the bank bags, the small bank bags where they put the coin in. So we got some of them, and we put in every one 10 maize pits. Why 10? Who can think about it? No? Let me hear. Huh? The tithe is 10%. But why did I say now we put 10 maize pits in? All right. I don't want to smuggle with your brains. I told them, here are in this bag 10 pits of maize, which we have to plant. And you don't plant it in the African way. The African way is 2 pits and 1 hole. Ne? Why do they do that? Because they say, in case the one is not coming up. I said we put it 1 by 1. And normally it takes 3 to 4 weeks for a maize to germinate, so that the sprout is coming out of the ground. So in the one church, the pastor said, I have a field, we all planted there. And the others, in the other church, they said, no, we planted at home. But there is no raining season now. I said, you see, this bud is from the devil. There's no raining season now. Nothing can grow now. But when God says, plant, then you plant. And after 4 days, the people called me 4 days and said, the maize sprout is coming out. And the following year, when I came, the pastor took me, the one pastor from the one church who said, we planted in one field. He took me to a storeroom like this. And it was packed with maize heads, right from the bottom to the top. And he said to me, and he showed me the pictures. Normally, each maize plant has how many heads? 2, ne? Maximum 3. When it's a good water there, good fertilizer. But here, in this case, there were 4 heads on one. And how many pits are in one? 250 by 300 maize pits. And God multiplied by 1,000. 1 to 1,000. Now you have 1,000. You put one in, you have 1,000 in return. So how many you can plant next year? How big will you harvest next year? And I said, all right, now you planted 10. The first plant you harvest, you send to the church. This is your tithe. That is your tinde. The second plant you send to the church. That is your offering. The third plant you pay your taxes to the government. Because what did Jesus say? What do you see on the coin? Give to the Kaiser, which belongs to the Kaiser, and give to God, which belongs to God. And the fourth plant, you put aside for replanting. And how many plants you have left? 6, ne? This 6 you can eat or sell. So this year, you planted 10 plants. How many plants can you plant next year? You see, God is blessing you through labor work. Ne? God never let the clouds come and open the clouds and the dollars just coming down like rain. No, that will not happen. God said to Adam, you sweat and you work. In Proverbs we read, the lazy will harvest the foolish. When we started in Mozambique with the children mission, we have a children mission for 1,000 children, and sometimes up to 3,000 children. And we feed them. The 1 week we are there, we feed them in the morning, lunchtime, and dinner. And you know, the one time the 3,000 children were there, we only had made provision for 1,000. But God is able to extend the food. God is able to prolong it. Then how many bread and how many fishes did they have when they gathered together? You see, Jesus said, how many loaves are there? How many loaves were there? 5 loaves. How many fish were there? 2 fish. And how many baskets were left overs? 12. And how many people were there? They're talking about 5,000 men. Now the children, and in these days, a family was not undersized with 2 or 3 children. They were oversized with 10, 12, and more children. And then the woman. So, we can count on 20, 30,000 people there. Is that not God who prolonged everything? He made an extension of the food. You ate a little, but you were full. But God, and this little boy, maybe his mother, she gave him a lunchbox with this bread and the 2 fish. Because she knew when he comes to Jesus, it will be a long day. Because Jesus could speak the whole day. And then Jesus comes and takes it away from the boy. But Jesus blessed him. 12 baskets were full of bread and fish. And he took that home to give his mother. You see the blessings of the Lord. When we started with the children mission in Mozambique, I took 50 kilo maize seed with. The farmer gave that to me. And the pastor planted it. And with this very same harvest, we were feeding the next year all the children. There was never a shortage. And what the pastor did, because the house of God is a house of order. And the pastor wrote down, like I see here, you calling each one by numbers. So I assume next to the number is a name. But here the pastor, from all the children who marching for the children conference, 25 kilometers to attend here. They leave 3 o'clock in the morning to be for breakfast there. Sometimes they march the whole night. And then they get the food. And they hear the word of God. You see, Jesus also, he was feeding the people, not only spiritually, but he was feeding them for the body. And we do that. I mean, you and Pastor Royce, you distribute Millie Meal so that the people's stomach gets full, but also that the soul gets fed with the word of God.